Why, hello everybody. So today we're going to talk about Spartacus, a game of blood and treachery. My second most favorite game of all time. My first being Game of Thrones second edition. But if you check my board game geek, I actually rate Spartacus higher, and that's just because it hits the table so much more often, and that varying game length mechanic of starting at 7 influence compared to 1 or 5 or 4 is just fantastic, because to get people to play this game is so much more easier than Game of Thrones, and for that I have to give this game the higher one. Now today we're going to talk about how how I play this game in a campaign format, which I feel really adds to the depth and also adds to the theme of the game, and also more importantly it mitigates the luck factor, because to be absolutely honest, this game has a ton of luck. Because if you draw the right cards and you have enough money to buy, for example, Theocles, if the other opponents all have starting gladiators, they almost have no chance of winning. Alright, now you can mitigate that with bets and all, but you get what I mean. Basically, they can never lose a gladiatorial combat. So, the way I'm going to explain this is firstly how I came up with this thematically. I found that game to game, it was really, me and my group were always talking about how cool it would be if each of the houses had their stable gladiators. So we started bringing things across games, and so we actually molded this campaign. And the way I thought about it is to link it to Roman history, and I linked it to the Senate, the governing body of Rome. And compared to the period you're looking at about 100 plus seats, and so to get people to say, hey, you're going to play 100 plus games to decide this campaign, is not very attractive. So I decided to just shorten it to 15, which might seem like a lot, but to be honest, Spartacus hits the table so often that I think it was negligible. In fact, it was it can be quite a short campaign. So the way you play it is basically there were 15 seats in the Senate. Each game you play, alright, whoever wins gets to basically cover one seat. So you're looking at basically to get a consulship, you need to control a majority more than half, which is 8 seats. So the person to 8 seats wins, basically. Alright. And actually there's further rules, which again you can play the 15 game one. That's great, but for me is that after 15 games, if you want, and I'm sure you would want to play Spartacus more, I came up with console rules. Basically, after you get a console, the next campaign starts, you have console rules. Alright, and my console rule was very simple, that in each of the games, like I said, we had our stable gladiators, but to not break the game, alright, we always chose our houses randomly by rolling dice. And our rule was that you get to keep 1 gladiator per game, or basically, per campaign. So let's say if I would have House Tullius and I had Theocles, if I had Crixus before, I had to choose to throw away 1 and keep 1. Now at the start of every game, alright, as the console, I would be able to roll my dice, alright, and of course the opponent, to be fair, I will also allow the opponent to do it, because this is a rule I came up with as some console, that if I roll a dice, if anything from 1 to 5, you play as per norm. But if you roll a 6, alright, you get to use the gladiators that basically you had in your stable. So for me, for example, at one point with Salonius I had Theocles, and I said, yes, for this game you may use that rule. But as console, if I saw that, example, my enemy has Spartacus and I had Crixus, then I would say, for this game you can't use it. You see, so the power of the console actually carries on beyond the campaigns even. So even in the normal 15-seat Senate one, you would notice huge deals that would surpass games. Like you might actually even promise a Senate seat, in the future, to lock up a victory now. It's just a great rule. It's a great. I feel the campaign really adds a lot thematically to the game. It adds a lot. It mitigates the luck factor of the game also much more. And so far we have play tested it. It's worked very well. And I hope that you try it too. Also, just on a note, to actually make it easier, because I know that to make anything that lengthens the game is not a good thing to a large extent. I would actually take little baggies and just put coins in them to remember, like, you write a name on it, and then you can know. So at one look, you can say, "Oh, okay, I had 3 Senate seats. He has 3. He has 3." That kind of thing. All right. So that just makes it much more easier to keep the game more like quick setup, and you also know that who has the advantage. Like, okay, how many seats does he have? 3 in the bag. There you go. So that is how I will play Spartacus as a campaign, and I hope you try it too. Till next word.